After all, you wouldn't disrupt a classroom to approach a teacher. Instead, you'd request a parent-teacher conference when the class is not in session. The same goes for your league. Learn the league's complaint policies and procedures now, and it may come in handy for the future. If you have a question or concern, ask the coach after this meeting or certainly before you get too far into the season.
31, how we say?
Remember, too, that your coaches are attempting to help every player realize his or her potential to learn the plays, to develop skills, and to experience success. This is a key objective of the program. Keep that in mind, and you will better understand why we do what we do and how you can help support the coaches' efforts. Now, for some of you, this is definitely going to test your restraint because in some cases, you may have more experience than your child's coach. Maybe you were an accomplished athlete who played in more competitive games. But remember, that was your turn with sports. Now it's your child's turn. We adults must learn that there is a very big difference between children's games played at an early age and the more competitive sports we may have played later in high school, college, or even professionally. By remembering the differences, we will be better equipped to understand the goals of youth sports and to keep it all in proper perspective for the kids who we are here to help. Good job! Playing time. It's an important thing for everyone, and it would be great if every player could play every minute of every game. But because of the large number of players on most teams, that is just not possible. We encourage our coaches to make every effort to equalize the playing time of each member of the team. Sometimes that may mean playing a less talented player in a close game, but that's all part of learning too. Coaches, players, and parents need to learn together and accept that being a team member, winning and losing, are all part of the sports experience. It is a shame when parents are the people least capable of accepting the total scope of a youth sports experience. When adults' emotions get out of hand, when winning overshadows everything, parents ruin the fun for everyone.
Part of being an adult and part of being mature has to do with being able to keep your emotions in check. One of the most obvious and telling situations about a person's ability to do that is around youth sports. When an adult loses control or perspective around impressionable children, everyone knows it, and it can be devastatingly embarrassing for the person and their entire family.
It's natural for your child to want you there at the practices and at the games. They like for you to see them perform. But if they hear you raising your voice in anger or swearing at an official, a coach, or worse, at them, it can make kids very uncomfortable and affect their performance. Now that we're in agreement on what we don't want, let's talk about some ways you can help everyone by being a model league parent. First, get interested in your child's sport. Learn something about its lore, its history, and its finer points. Feed your child's interest in their sport without getting pushy and without living your sports experience vicariously through your child. Second, be realistic about your child's abilities. At this point, it's important for them to simply be involved. Talk of being a starter on the high school team in a few years, or winning a college athletic scholarship, or paying for your retirement with that fat bonus check they'll sign on a pro contract in another 15 years has no place in youth sports. Not even as a joke. Remember, kids can take everything to heart, including your expectations. Third, make every effort to get your child to team practice. It's hard enough to teach everything the team needs to know as a group for the upcoming game. When players miss practices, it puts the whole team at a disadvantage. Fourth, don't undermine your coaches by shouting instructions from the bleachers or suggesting a better way of doing things. If you'd like to be a volunteer, we're always looking for a few good assistant coaches to be part of the staff. Otherwise, mixed instructions only confuse your son or daughter and will also interfere with their skill development and their sense of team play. You can best help your child by watching how the coaches teach skills in practice, then practice those skills with your child at home. It will be fun for both of you, and it will give you a better appreciation for how tough it can be to master some of those skills. Number 5, make it a point to learn the rules of your child's sport. Not only will you have a better appreciation for the game, but you won't be frustrated over not knowing what's going on out there. At the same time, learn your team's rules and support your coaches in the enforcement of those rules, even if their enforcement affects your child. 6. If you have a problem with the coach's rules or regulations, don't gripe about them. That can only serve to undermine the team morale. If you do have a problem, talk with the coach again, away from practice, games, and certainly away from the players. If you still have a problem, consult a league official. 7. Make sure you let the coach know if your child won't be able to attend a practice or a game. The coaches care about your child and their team, and they don't want to leave anything to chance. Coaches will always expect a player to be at the practices and at the games unless you inform them otherwise. 8. Pay attention to what your child eats before practices and games. Carbohydrates are easily digested, so we recommend whole wheat breads, pastas, soups, fruits, or yogurt about an hour and a half before the activity, if at all possible. 9. Learn the league policy of transporting children to and from practices and games. The coaches have families and commitments too, and they can't be responsible for supervising your child until you get around to picking him or her up. 10. Be a supportive role model by refraining from alcohol or tobacco during practices, games, and also at those team parties. Remember, this is your child's classroom. 11. Participate in team activities whenever possible and be a super fan by cheering on both teams. It will double your fun. And 12. Remember that your child's coach is just like you, except that he or she has volunteered a great deal of time and effort to work with your children. Your coaches are not professionals. They're experiencing on-the-job training and want to do their very best to provide excitement, fun, and skill development so that your children will want to stay involved in sports. They need and deserve your support and your appreciation. It's not an easy job, and we are grateful that these dedicated folks have accepted the invitation to serve our league as coaches. You can show your appreciation and your support by making the commitment to fulfill your individual responsibility to the league, the coaches, and most importantly, to your child.
Every day that you wake up, your actions as an adult are being watched and absorbed by the children in your life. Children learn what is appropriate behavior from the adults around them, so we can't afford to make mistakes. Even at youth sports events, you have a responsibility to the children to be a positive role model and show them the right way.
Oh, nice hit, Matt!
See you later. You know, right from the start, we've said how important it is to know that when you've signed your child up for our league, you've joined the team too. And if we adults work together in a spirit of cooperation and we're all doing our own individual part toward making youth sports a fun, safe, and meaningful experience for our kids, no matter what the season record ends up being, we can't lose.